Hello everyone, welcome to the episode 63 of SoLeadSaturday. The guest we have today, Nina Sharil Khan, is the founder and CEO of Popcorn, international speaker and host of the hashtag JustLanger podcast live show. Nina is also marketing in Asia's top 100 inspirational LinkedIn icons for both 2019 and 2020. Her journey in entertainment began as an actor, TV host, and film and TV producer. Realizing that disruption was happening in social media, the rebel in her founded Popcorn in 2018 as a creator community and platform to connect creative talents and businesses. Within just a year of its operations, Popcorn launched the world's first ever business influencer conference, the CXOCon. Today, Popcorn has evolved into a full-fledged marketing agency and academy, working directly with TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and dedicated to developing and nurturing Southeast Asia's business influencers. Wow, so many achievements within a short period of time. I can't wait to hear more from her. So let's welcome her and listen more about her career journey. How did she found her area of interest and managing to lead that? Hey, hi, welcome Nina. Very happy to have you on the show and really appreciate all your time and consideration being on the show.
hmm Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here and very excited as well.
Yeah, me too, actually, same. So, to begin with, our first section is about passion and interest. So,
hmm
when I gone through your profile, right? So, how
hmm
did you find your interest in the marketing and sales, and what motivates you to be in this field?
Okay, to be honest, I actually studied economics and accounting, so nothing to do with marketing whatsoever. Yeah, exactly. So, how did I ended up in it? Well, to tell you the truth, even when I started work, I think I was doing business reengineering. So
Mm-hmm.
I was helping. I was working for one of the top companies in oil and gas in Malaysia.
Uh-huh.
You probably know it. It's Petronas. They sponsor the F1 and kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But my passion, because I love speaking, I was acting on the side, so I naturally gravitated towards the microphone,
Uh-huh.
and it would kind of divert me towards corporate comm and stuff like that. So it was always there. And then when I started doing, I was freelancing as a
Uh-huh.
financial consultant. I had free time. I ended up. I ended up going for an audition and winning the hosting gig. So
Wow.
I went into acting and hosting. And then as an actor, as a host, you have to be able to market yourself and to sell yourself. And as a financial consultant, you need to sell yourself. So if you
Uh,
needed to sell your services, you needed to understand marketing and stuff like that. So that's how I got involved in it, because of the film and the whatnot. And then I was helping companies. So I realized that it was just a natural thing for me.
mhm.
And when I was working with, after the acting and film, I went back to corporate. I was working for a government agency to help animation companies and game
Uh-huh.
companies. So that's when I discovered social media,
Mhm.
and I went to actually VidCon in the US. This was in 2017 to 2018, and based on that, I was like so inspired. I was like, okay, I want to be an influencer, so I'm gonna get into this thing. So I've always loved being in front of the camera, but behind it as well, and
Mhm.
being able to write and promote something was something that I was so passionate about. It was just a natural passion, I guess. Yeah. So that's how we started Popcorn. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great actually because it is more over like a self-evolving journey to find your interest
Yeah.
in that.
And I think that's really important, and that's what we preach to our students as well. That you have to know who you are and what makes you
Mhm.
happy, because then you'll be able to enjoy your work, and you don't feel like it's a job. You feel like it's a passion. It's something that you want to do, and that's what you inspire the world. So it's really important to know your passion.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much for sharing that because that is definitely useful for all the students out there.
Mm-hmm.
Moving towards our next segment is about questions from the audience, where I have
Okay.
shortlisted a couple of questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
And to begin with, the first question under that section is, what is digital content marketing and how one can start with their content marketing journey?
Okay. Well, digital content marketing, because digital marketing is so huge. And to tell you the truth, I kind of learned about it late because when I was working, all these things didn't exist. Okay. So it was in 2018, to tell you the truth. I went to VidCon. I didn't know there were so many influencers there. There was Casey Neistat, but I didn't understand the industry. So I probably walked past them. If I were to go there today, I would probably be screaming all over, but I'm jealous of me then. Okay. So you guys are there in the States, so if you have a chance, please go.
Yeah.
So what is digital content marketing? Well, it's wow. First of all, digital marketing is huge. We start when internet started, everybody, Google was the first thing, or search engine. So you have those things called search engine optimization, which is how do you appear on the top of the search engine list. So those things are called search engine optimization, search engine marketing. And how you go on top is by creating content. Okay. So that you're relevant, so that people will search for you and stuff like that. So content then became content marketing. And now on social media, you have all these influencers, you have people creating content. When we say creating content, it could be a post, it could be an article on LinkedIn, it could be a video, it could be a live stream, it could be a comic, and you're putting. So it's any type of content. It could even be a podcast that you can put online, and you can express yourself. So that is what I would call content marketing. And in the world of digital content marketing, when we talk about it, it would be who are you, what are you trying to sell, or who are you trying to connect to, and who's the audience, and what is the medium of you connecting. So you could be writing articles, again, you could be writing articles on LinkedIn, you could be writing just a simple post, you could be creating like works of art, making it into a story. My recent post was like a comic, and I am not talented, okay, but there's an app. So I just launched a new Facebook group to teach people how to position themselves as business influencers. So I was talking about the group. So the comic was a series of photos and some of our students' photos. And we're like, hey, have you heard? And they're like, heard what? And it's all in comic style. And they're like, yeah, I've joined the group. I've joined too. What are you talking about? Oh, and why is this important? Oh, because we're going to go live tonight. Boom, that's it. It's just a stupid, silly story, but everybody loved it. So that's a form of content as well. And a presentation is also a content. So you could really put up your stuff on SlideShare, which is owned by LinkedIn. Yeah. So digital content marketing is any content that you create on a digital platform, and it's basically to attract people towards what you do, whatever it is you're trying to sell, and people gravitate towards you, like you're the flower and they're the bees. Yeah. So that's how I would describe digital content marketing. I hope that makes sense.
Very well, actually, and it's very easy to understand as well the way you explained it. It's a lot
Cool.
more easier in terms.
Uh-huh.
So thank you so much. And the next question we have is, how often is it required to create a content when it comes to social media or any other site?
Okay. That depends on the platform, and it also depends on the influencer. So I'll give you an example. So Twitter is a very fast-moving social media platform. So you're probably required to create content like 6 times a day. And it's very, very short. It's very fast. But when you have somebody who's OCD like me, that doesn't work. Okay. TikTok is also another platform, and I think on average you do like 3 content a day or something like that, but some companies do like 3 times a week. So it depends on who you are and how often you want to create. But of course, if you're building yourself up, you're like not known, you want to be able to do it a certain time a week. So Instagram once a day is good. Facebook once a day is good. LinkedIn, you can actually get away with 3 times a week. Whereas again, TikTok is like 3 times a day, they're saying, but I think once a day is also enough because it's still very, very new. So so again, it depends on the platform, what people are used to, and it also depends on you as a person. So I'll give you an example. The CEO of Salesforce, he is like a big influencer on Twitter. So he doesn't tweet often, but when he does, it's like boom, everybody listens and follows, kind of thing. I think it's Twitter. I'm not sure if it's Twitter or LinkedIn. So it really depends. So like somebody like Richard Branson, they can get away with posting once a week, once a month, and people will still follow him. Yeah. So it depends on you as a person, and depends on the platform. Like for us, we're heavily LinkedIn business influencers. So I try to create content at least once a day, but I know there are LinkedIn influencers out there who create 4.
Yes.
So it really depends. And LinkedIn is slightly different. You don't want to create your content like here and then another one in an hour, because
Uh-huh.
it depends on the platform. The algorithm pushes it down. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it doesn't support it. So you want to let your content breathe, and then you post it like, either the next day or half a day later in
Uh-huh.
order for you to see results. Otherwise, it affects your first post. Okay. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, yes, that makes sense. So
Okay,
when we
cool.
are seeing that, audience engagement with your content, as you mentioned about the Salesforce actually, especially,
Mhm.
um, do you see that those people have already established or achieved something and it is easy to attract the audience? Or do they bring that kind of a quality in their content from the start? How does that work, like, engagement with the audience?
Engagement with the audience. Okay, a lot of people seem to think that the content, I mean, I don't know about you. What do you think is important for people? Why do people follow people? Do you think it's the content, or do you think it's something else?
I think it's moreover like a connect they feel, whatever content they put together. Like it is moreover about everybody should be able to relate to that
Right.
on a
Okay.
certain
So,
kind of.
yeah, when it comes to creating content, there's a lot of things which are at play. You need to be authentic.
Mhm,
If you look at it, if I come across and I'm very stuffy, and I'm talking, oh, you should do this, very proper, I'm very well behaved,
uh-huh,
it might not come out as good because my real self is like this. So you got to be authentic, you got to be real, you gotta love yourself for who you are and embrace yourself for who you are. And then something magical happens. Your audience can relate to you. Your audience connects with you. Yeah, it's when you embrace all that flaw. So that's one. You gotta be authentic. Number two, another thing is your content has to be, the more relevant it is, the more you reach out, the more it connects to a lot of people. It's exactly what you say. People
uh-huh,
can relate to you.
uh-huh,
Yeah. So usually if you have like an underdog story, it's like film. All film scripts usually has an underdog story that the hero rises kind of thing, so there's a villain. So when you
yes,
have that kind of story, they like, because they don't people don't like people who are perfect. They want you to have some flaws so you can support them. I mean, that's the psychology of it.
uh-huh,
So that's why it's important to be authentic. There has to be like a villain in the story that you're against. Like we're against like marketeers.
uh-huh,
We're like disruptors. We're like influencers. Hey, we do things ourselves. So when we did a video where we shot professionally, we were like, there's something wrong with it. Okay, why? Because it's our villain. You know what
uh-huh,
I mean? Okay,
yes,
so I hope that makes sense. So another thing about content is we honestly feel that the best content creators are not necessarily the most talented one, but
uh-huh,
they are the ones who are the most consistent one.
uh-huh,
Because if you want to position yourself as a business influencer, if you want to create content, it's about consistency.
uh-huh,
And if you are creating content at 8 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, you have to, by rain or shine, it has to come out 10 o'clock every day. Or if it's every
okay,
Thursday night, it has to come out Thursday. Because what you're doing is you're coaching, you're subconsciously training your audience to get used to you. So
uh-huh,
much so that when we don't have a show on the Thursday night, because we have a show every Thursday night, people are like, something's wrong. You guys are not online, so you need to coach your audience. You need to be consistent so that they depend on you. Okay, because they do depend on you. Okay, so
uh-huh,
that's what you're doing. So consistency is very important. So remember this: the best content creators are not the most perfect, the best content creators, they are the most consistent one. Okay,
uh-huh,
because if you're doing something and then you disappear and then you do again, it's hard for people to follow you, because it translates as, oh, this person is not reliable, I don't know
mhm,
when. Yeah, unless you're somebody who comes out with boom, okay, I'm willing to wait once a month, okay, I will wait, that sort of thing, kind of like that CEO was telling you about. Another thing is engagement is so important. So when people respond to you, people are sharing, you want to comment and engage with them. Yes, I know
uh-huh,
those things are important when you're first starting. Those are the things that people look out, and they will become your raving fans. They will just like be a
uh-huh.
loyal fan. When somebody says things about you, they will be there to defend you. That's when you know you're good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. That's
Yes,
how
yes,
you engage with people. Yeah.
yep, yep.
Having said that, right now there are two platforms which are super organic where you can go on and you can get very good traction.
Uh-huh,
We're talking TikTok, we're talking LinkedIn, and
uh-huh,
Clubhouse now as well. I don't have Clubhouse, so I don't understand what it's about, but I know that because it's new, traction is super fast. The ones where if you want to start creating engagement, which is going to be a bit hard, we're talking Facebook,
uh-huh,
Instagram,
uh-huh.
Twitter, because a lot of people are using it already. So you probably have to pay for ads in order for you to stand out. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So I
Yeah.
hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, that definitely is very useful and insightful for the audience. Moving
Mm-hmm.
towards our next question is, what is the importance of keywords in content marketing? Is a part of an effective strategy for content marketing?
Okay. Sorry again, could you repeat that question?
So what is the importance of keywords in the content marketing?
Keywords. Okay, very important. The reason why keywords are important is because when the internet or the digital world is so full of content, we're talking like, I can't remember what the data is, but we're talking like, even if you spend your whole lifetime, you can never watch all the content on YouTube, all the content on Facebook. We're talking billions of hours of videos. Yeah. So how do you find the content? Keywords are super important. You have to key in the keyword so that it stands out. So
Mhm,
right now people are searching for content through keywords. So keywords are super important. So whenever you come up with something, find, like what would be the keywords that people would search that content. So if it's about personal branding, you want to put personal branding,
mhm,
sales, marketing, positioning, your things that are related to it. Yeah, that sort of
mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
Influencer, if it's about an influencer. So you want to find all those keywords and putting it there, because then it allows other people to find you.
Mhm,
And you want to put keywords that it's a mixture of very focused keyword
mhm,
and a mixture of keywords that are big so that people can find you. So for example, social media, if you Google social media on LinkedIn,
mhm,
hashtag social media, there'll be like, I don't know, 23 million. Yeah, because there's a lot of people searching for it, and people on LinkedIn also follow hashtags.
mhm,
So that's how important it is. And then you also want to create your own brand. So maybe like for me, maybe my nickname is Nina Girl, and of course we have popcorn. So
mhm,
we put hashtag popcorn fest so that
mhm.
people will find, whenever they're looking for popcorn fest, they can quickly find us. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So you want to create one which is your brand so that it's unique.
Uh-huh,
You also want like a large keyword and like a minor one to really zoom in. You want to see
uh-huh.
big picture, small picture, and really laser focus like that. Yeah. Which is
Yeah,
your
that's
brand.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that
Mhm.
makes sense as well to increase the audience reach. Definitely, you need to.
Yes. And also like I create content, and because I sell LinkedIn classes, right? I
Mhm.
educate people about LinkedIn. So sometimes I tag LinkedIn, sometimes I hashtag LinkedIn, and then the algorithm somewhat helps to go up.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And you want to be mindful of the number of hashtags as well, because different platforms have different numbers that they
Uh-huh.
allow you. Like LinkedIn at one point was 5 hashtags, and then it's considered spam, but now we're talking about 8, 9 hashtags.
Oh, okay,
It's
that's
allowed. Yeah, more than that is just considered spam, and then the algorithm will like not help you go up. Yeah.
good. Yeah. Thank you so much. And our next segment is about like a fun segment where I'm going to
Uh-huh.
give you like three words associated with
Uh-huh.
your profile, and you have to
Okay.
tell me what comes to your mind immediately.
Okay, no worries.
Can be like abstract content, it can be a short definition, whatever comes to
So I have to give you one word, right?
one word, or it can be a short definition. If it's not like an
Okay.
example with the one word, you can just mention it like a short
Okay.
definition of it. So are you ready?
Okay, yes, ready.
So the first word is marketing.
Fun. Fun unleashes your creativity, so
Okay.
you can create fun and color into the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Second word is content.
Content is showing what you're passionate about. What this is from a personal point of view, like what you're passionate about, a little glimpse about you that you can share with the world, that can
Okay.
make the world happy, or an insight kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
about you. Mm.
Yeah. And the third keyword is social media usage.
Social media usage, too much. So too much and burnout. It can be
Yeah,
pretty overwhelming.
yeah.
So yeah, so I would say too much. That would be the word.
I think with the pandemic also, it is kind of a thing.
Yeah. So it's like death by Zoom, burnout, death by social media. Yeah, those sort of
That's
things.
good.
Yeah. If it was
Yep,
death by chocolate, it'd be good.
yep, yep. Thank you so much, and you did really well. So, moving towards our next segment is about career work and volunteering, where I would like to
Mm-hmm.
explore a little more about your career through
Mm-hmm.
some of the questions. So, you are a CEO and founder of a popcorn. We talked a lot about through the answers as well beforehand. But would you like to
Mm-hmm.
share more specific about services and offerings with the audience?
Right. Okay. So Popcorn, we have two sides of the business. We have the academy, and we also have the agency. So the agency does all the digital marketing work. So we do content for social media. We consult on content for social media. We also manage social media for some of our clients. We create videos for them from concept, and it depends on the budget of the client. Regardless of their budget, we find people that we can work with to afford them, because we try not to say no to everybody. Because when we first started, we didn't know what social media was. We didn't know how much it cost. So we try and see what your budget is, and we try and help connect you to our vendors, kind of thing. So we're like an aggregator, if you like.
Uh-huh.
Another thing is, the thing that we do is we also, apart from managing social media, we also organize and kind of consult our clients. Like, if especially if they want to grow big in a B2B, then we suggest content. So when we talk about content, it could be a webinar, it could be a conference, and
Mm-hmm.
we really suggest, like, okay, maybe you want to create your own show and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're really good at. That's our strength. And we even tell them, okay, you want to coach your people to become like a business influencer, so you want to go to the academy site where we train you. So that's where the academy comes in, and this is really where Popcorn's strength is. We have like we have a course. We have two sites. We do public training, we
Mm-hmm.
do corporate training.
Mm-hmm.
Our public training is, we are Southeast Asia's business influencer academy. So what that means is, we are a business influencer incubator. You come in and we coach you and we teach you how to position yourself as a business influencer, in the region or globally, because our students are getting sales and jobs from
Mm-hmm.
overseas. Yeah, and they get recognized as, inspirational icons like me. So we've created like 9 in total. They come in February. By May, their influencers were like, what, and then they also close sales, because there's no point in being famous, but you want something. It's either about impacting the community or it's about sales. So
Mm-hmm.
our clients have closed like 1 million after one session with us. Yeah, we're like, huh,
Wow.
1 million, 50K, 60K, and all of them are like us, where we don't do cold calls anymore. We just create content, and the leads just come naturally. And which reminds me, I have to respond to somebody because I keep forgetting. Yeah, so that's what it means being so that's the public side of the training, and then we have the corporate side of the training, where we kind of go and give talks. We give an overview of this whole industry about employee advocacy, and building each certain people in your company as the faces of the company, as the company ambassador or the brand ambassadors. And we're not just talking C levels, we're talking like the sales people, we're talking like the tech people, the product people, we're talking like, people from different ages when they come in. So I'll give you a good example. In Malaysia, there's this really famous girl on LinkedIn. She's about 27, and she is an engineer. She
Mm-hmm.
works in the oil rig, and she's famous for sharing her day-to-day life working in an oil rig and what she does and stuff like that.
Oh.
So yeah, and she's got like 20,000 followers. So it's really, really inspiring. And because of her, there's this whole group of girls who are who are engineers, and who
Mm-hmm.
are looking forward to working in an oil rig because of her sharing her experience. So there's this whole girl empowerment thing,
Uh-huh.
yeah, going on because of that. So we actually tell our clients, or yeah, our clients, that it doesn't matter. You do not have to be a C level. You're always a role model for somebody else. Like if I just
Mm-hmm.
started work, a graduate will want to look up to me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
everybody can be a role model. So it really depends on giving them the tools on
Uh-huh.
how to do this effectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we do with the corporate side, and then with the public side is if those people are interested and they want to position themselves. Those are for business owners, entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
startups, C levels if they want. We've got like the CEO of a radio channel coming in, bankers coming into our class, and they mix up with everybody. So we've got like a really amazing community who's very supportive and very protective of each other too. So if somebody messes with them, you see the whole kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great actually. So
Mm.
I'd love to hear more about your services and offerings. So moving towards our next section, next question is
Mhm.
about, would you like to share more about your work as a business partner with the LinkedIn?
Right. So with LinkedIn, we became the official country partner for
Mhm.
LinkedIn in Malaysia for, I think, 2019. Yeah. And for that, that was more of us helping them sell their LinkedIn talent solutions. So basically, so LinkedIn talent solution is amazing. We call it the glove of Thanos, the hand of Thanos.
Uh-huh.
Some people call it the hand of God. But what it does is when with this license, you can literally crawl the entire database of LinkedIn,
Uh-huh.
72 million at this point in time, yes. And you can find whoever that you want to hire based on their job, their
Mhm.
location, and even volunteer experiences. So, like, I'll give you an example. You can even search for Santa Claus. Can you believe it? Santa Claus. And even if you've volunteered as a Santa Claus in school, your
Uh-huh.
name might come out. Yeah. So that's how powerful their search engine is, but you need to do this with a license, and that's the
Uh-huh.
recruiter license, and it's meant to hire people into the company. So usually it's the big companies that do this kind of
Mhm.
thing. So that's how we worked with LinkedIn. We sell their talent solution, but moving forward, I think 2020, where I think we're more passionate. Our passion is in building people, in developing them as business influencers, not selling a recruiter license.
Yeah.
So we've decided that moving forward, that is going to be our focus,
Uh-huh.
and that's how we're going to coach people. So but we're still going to be we're still good friends with LinkedIn,
Uh-huh.
and that's basically our decision on how to move forward kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you
Okay.
so much. And one
Yeah,
more question we
but if you're in HR, I would say the recruiter license is the talent solution is something that you want to look into,
have.
because we're working with one of the other country partners now on
Uh-huh.
training their clients, which is that part that we do. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
yeah.
That's great. And we have one more question under that segment, which is why do
Okay.
you think volunteering is important? And would you like to share your contribution through different initiatives you are part
Right. Okay. So I think volunteering is very important,
of?
especially if you're working and you're
Uh-huh.
looking for your next job, and also as an individual, as a person,
Uh-huh.
volunteering is this side of you where you get to find your passion and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. So with your LinkedIn, I would really suggest that, especially if you're young, especially if you're in uni, put in all those volunteering stuff because it does add value, and
Uh-huh.
people can find you. So, for example, if you volunteered for, being a Santa Claus, a recruiter could find
Uh-huh.
you. If you volunteered for singing or, for community building, which is another important job of the future, building
Uh-huh.
communities. So all those things are important skills that money can't pay. And the best way for you to really level yourselves up to get those skills is by volunteering, you
Uh-huh.
know, uh,
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. And I think growing up, I was volunteering in everything. I was like a Rotary Interact member.
Uh-huh.
So I was helping put up like all these talent shows and stuff like that, organizing backstage and stuff like that. Which is why by the time I came I went to university, and by the time I graduated, I have really strong event management skills because I was organizing almost everything in university. I was organizing stuff. I was fundraising in university. I think we raised like about 2 million for the society. Yeah. And it goes a long way, because all those things are going to be things that your recruiter or your future potential employer is looking for, and it just adds a lot of stuff. And not just that, you get to discover your talent. You get to be
Mhm.
outside your box and work with people. So that's why I think volunteering is super important. And for me, I think the best part of my life has been volunteering, I would say, all the way from university, organizing huge plays and stuff like that, to when I start working. I think I helped out with the Breast Cancer Foundation.
Mhm.
We even had Sherry Blair from the UK coming in
Mhm.
and supporting us. And I think we raised like about 10 million at that time. That was when I was working. And we even did like a show, and Jackie Chan and everything came in. So that was a very high profile foundation. So I
Mhm.
managed to volunteer there. So that was a lot of fun. The relationships that I have with these people continue until today.
Mhm.
And yeah, so those was just a few. I was also the F1 marshal car driver for
Uh-huh.
Petronas.
Uh-huh.
So we were driving around the F1 circuit. So again, we were the first female ones to do it. And yes, all these things kind of get you into a different industry so you can understand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you never know where life is going to lead you. You never know what your passion might be unless you volunteer or get involved in a lot of things. So I highly recommend volunteering. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Two things I
Mhm.
definitely would say that, I can relate.
Yeah.
It is more or like a self-evolving, thinking out of box and
Yeah. Yeah.
finding
And
passion.
I'm also a huge training junkie. So whenever my friends like conduct trainings, I'll just come in and say, hey, I want to help out this weekend. So
Yes.
so we've been involved in like BMW training, and you're like, this person's overqualified. How is she one of the assistant? And I'm like, oh, I'm just here for the weekend. Yeah. So you meet people, so you never know. And I'm a very huge people person kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So if especially if my work was boring, that was like a creative outlet for me. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what I think. Mm.
Same applies to me actually. I'm also quite
Yeah,
sometimes people like, how can you just talk? Like I can talk to you.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So yeah, so moving towards our next section is about tips and advice. Already you have given like a bunch of tips and advice actually to the aspirants out there.
Okay, cool.
But just to summarize here in this particular section, any specific tips or advice would you like to give to the students or the professionals who are looking to get into this area and grow in this field, or thinking this as their long-term career option?
Okay. Definitely. I think the first thing I would do is, if you're still in school, or even if you're working but you're interested in this, your best friend is Google.
Uh,
Okay. So I would just go to Google. I'm talking either Google search or YouTube, right? And I
uh-huh.
would search the keywords. Never underestimate the power of Google.
Yes, Google
Okay,
search
and
engine.
YouTube. You can learn everything from these
Yes,
two
yes.
platforms. So
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest, and it's about being resourceful. And I can tell you the reason why I and Popcorn are in business, even though we don't know a lot of things about
Uh-huh.
digital marketing, but we thought, oh, soon people will know about this and we won't be relevant anymore. To tell you the truth, we are
Mm-hmm.
still relevant. Why? Because if you think about this, the whole world is busy at work. They're doing what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're busy doing their work, day-to-day life, and then there's family, there's kids, there's this, there's that. How on earth do they have time to keep themselves up to date with the latest trends and things that are happening?
Mm-hmm.
They do not have time. So that's what we do. When our clients sign up with us, we keep up to date with LinkedIn because we're passionate about it, we're crazy
Uh-huh.
about it. And because we're teaching people, we need to know the information. So our clients hang on to us because we know all the updates. We find out the updates, and then we'll look at the data. And every year we'll do like a talk where, okay, so these are the trends that's happening with digital marketing. And digital marketing moves so fast. 10 years ago, I was just looking. Something that went viral was an email,
Uh-huh.
you know and then there's YouTube, and now even YouTube is getting harder. The newest platform is what, LinkedIn and TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Mark Zuckerberg is pissed off with TikTok, yeah, because they're gaining market share.
Yes.
And then now there's Clubhouse, and people are like, what's Clubhouse? So things can change at any time. You
Uh-huh.
never know. So you need to keep up to date. But but you don't, so you want to hang out with people who keeps themselves up to date, kind of thing. So never underestimate being resourceful. Okay, having said that, we have a lot of digital marketing people that follow us because digital marketing has become so huge. If you talk about social media management and stuff like that, I'm not the expert. I'll get you somebody else, But if we're talking about building yourself up as a business influencer and LinkedIn as a platform, that's where we come in. But even so, we talk about LinkedIn. We're not even good with Facebook. We're not good with YouTube. That's not our expertise. But we'll find somebody, we'll find somebody who's good with TikTok kind of thing. But if we talk about LinkedIn, yeah, we can do LinkedIn, that sort of thing. We make it our business to know LinkedIn. Yeah. The next thing that we're getting good at is Facebook group. Yeah. And another thing that we're good at is webinars and creating online virtual conference, because that's our expertise. That's how we grow ourselves. So we immediately recommend the same thing to people. So what's my tip and advice? I would say be resourceful. Go and search. You'll find a lot of stuff and share it with people. And soon you'll be seen as an expert, kind of thing. So the difference between you and the person next to you is whether you're resourceful or not. Yeah. So you can start from anywhere. There's a lot of cheap online courses where you can learn. And digital marketing is huge. What you know, somebody else might not know. And at first, me and my founders, because we came in really late into the industry, right? We didn't know what was going on. But because we kept having all our talks, we kept having all our interviews. We would interview people from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from YouTube and stuff like that. And after a while, we knew what we learned some stuff, but even so, we didn't know what we were doing. So by the time I got on LinkedIn and I started creating content, and I was using whatever I learned, and boom, suddenly I was an influencer. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So what I would say is get yourself, find people and role models to follow, learn from them, be resourceful, learn. And along the way, you have to execute it. And then you can get yourself into it. Also, if you're young, I just coached somebody who came for our LinkedIn profile class. And she was like, yeah, but I don't have anything to offer. And I'm like, no, you do have something to offer. You are the voice of your generation. I don't know your generation. I was born much later, so I don't know what it's like to grow up in a digital first world, to grow up with technology, and a lot of people my age are trying to get into the millennial market. So she was like, oh yeah. So she tweaked her, and she's still studying. Yeah, she's not even working. So she tweaked her profile to say, I help brands tune into the millennials' voice through content creation. Or I help brands penetrate the millennial market or the Gen Z market through content creation, something like that. And immediately she got a couple of inquiries from people, and we're like, what? Yeah, kind of thing. So brands are reaching out to her because we don't get the millennial market. We don't understand, So she has that advantage. And I told her, create content about your generation, because we really want to know. We're curious, kind of thing. And she was like, yeah, okay, got it. Yeah. So she actually got 2 job offers, kind of thing. So we're coaching her and stuff like that. Yeah. Because they are so savvy. They know what they're doing. It's just automatic for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what you want to do. So my advice to you is, learn as much as you can. The resources are out there. You don't have to pay for a lot of money. If you want to pay, go ahead, pay. Find good people that you can learn from. Have them as your mentor, and get coaching. And then at the same time, the third one, which is really important, you got to know yourself. You got to learn to know yourself. And you don't compete with the next person, because you guys are not the same, right? So my kind of style of creating content is different because I'm me. Your style of creating content is different. It's because of you. So you want to know who you are and what your best gift, your superpowers are. Are you a writer? Are you a comic artist? Are you a podcaster? Are you a streamer? Are you a video person? So find that strength and execute, because this whole thing is about testing until you know. Yeah. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was very wise actually. The unique advice that I have heard so far, because
really? Okay.
Yeah, because being resourceful, people always forget actually that it is very important.
No, that's the basic thing. You have to be resourceful, and the worst thing you can do is to say, I don't know. I don't know is like the popcorn founders are allergic to people who say I don't know, because psychologically, because we're from the training industry, right? So psychologically, when you say I don't know, your mind just closes up and it doesn't give you any possibilities for solutions.
Mhm.
Possibilities just close. It just, kind of thing. So even if you don't know, it's okay, but you can say like, I'm gonna find out. So it's a
Mhm.
completely different energy was towards it, as opposed to I don't know,
Yes.
and that's it. Yeah. Oh, the other thing is, I'll find out. Interesting question. I'll find out. Even your boss will react to you differently. Yeah.
Yeah, that is something
Yeah.
really nice as well. So thank you so much. And to close this episode, we have the last segment, which is leadership. And it truly shows the way you are talking, the way you are speaking. Actually, it is a lot more like you are passionate about the field you are in and you are leading that area. So, what is your leadership style and any specific leader that you always follow and admire and why?
Okay. My leadership style, I'm not too sure actually. I think if I were to simplify this
Uh-huh.
is, are you happy? If you're happy, okay,
Mhm.
got it. And sometimes I like to let people dig their own grave or make mistakes, because then after that they will learn. So I'll be like, okay. So was that painful or was that a shortcut? And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Okay, got it. But then I could have seen it happen, but people learn at their own pace and they need to learn. That's when they
Yes.
really learn it. They need to learn it themselves. You can't just tell them something. So that's usually my leadership style. We'll see, kind of thing. And always try to be kind, because you don't know where people are
Mhm.
going.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, you got to take a step back and look. I used to be like very OCD. I used to be like, I can do this. Why can't you do this? Because I'm an overachiever. So I used to have really high standard, but I think I've evolved as a person. So I still have that look where I'm very like, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So when I want people to behave, I just give that look and I'll be like, kind of thing. But actually, I do that because I'm kind. I don't want to be, taken for a ride and that sort of thing. So it's like a defense mechanism. But at the end of the day, it's about, you know what? You got to be happy. Life's short.
Uh-huh.
And what are the things that matter to you? Maybe it's not a good fit because we need somebody to work hard and stuff like that, but you want to be with your family. That's really your passion. So go for it. So for me, it's about, everybody is perfect. It's whether we are pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that fit,
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you got to honor that. If your passion is in taking care of your family, there's nothing wrong with that. That's one of the most wonderful things. Go and do that. Yeah, but if you really want to learn and be a really good marketeer or whatever, and you want to work with us, you want to be our intern, go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's my style. Having said that, the way we see things are different at
Uh-huh.
Popcorn. We don't want to run like a huge company because we don't want to have the headache,
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. We believe in this thing called the company of one, where you have a very lean operation. The
Uh-huh.
less people we have, the happier we are, because the bigger you are, the more miscom and stuff like that. And everything is supported technology and stuff like that. And then if we like our students and we want to work with them and they want to
Uh-huh.
contribute more, because we don't want to run the business for the
Uh-huh.
rest of our lives, we want other people to take over. We want to chill, kind of thing. So we're looking at a very lean organization,
Uh-huh.
and running from everywhere we can be running. I could be living in India and running it. I could be living in Bali,
Yeah.
running the company. So we're looking at something like that, where we can have a fully digital nomad lifestyle,
Uh-huh.
and still contribute and make a difference to the world. It's a bit crazy, yeah, but that's where I think Popcorn is headed. That's where we are all aligned. The other thing is, the leader that I really admire, I would say, is Simon Sinek. The stuff that comes out of his mouth is just
Uh-huh.
amazing. Yeah. So and I think a lot of people take for granted
Uh-huh.
that, why are we here? I think, why are we here? It's so that we can make a living, have a happy life. And sometimes we work too hard,
Mm.
and the best parts of our lives go miss, you just passes you by, and you don't spend time with your kids, you don't spend time with your family, but then you're working so hard. Who's it for the family, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's about having a balanced life.
Mm.
Yeah. So if you ask me this 20 years ago, I would have said, I have such high standards. You need to be at this level, or I'm not going to work with you. So
Uh-huh.
that would have been me. But you're asking me this like 20 years later, and my answer is, it's okay.
Uh-huh.
Just grow. Yeah, you have you have goals to achieve, and you want to work towards that. And sometimes some people don't fit, and it's okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the important thing is to respect that and go your separate ways and work if your pieces of the puzzle that fit. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
that's the way I see it. But I think everybody is perfect in their own way, and I think everybody needs love
Yes.
and kindness, and which I think is really lacking in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and I really wish good luck with all your future endeavors.
Thank
On the
you.
person of making a difference, and I stand for the same. So,
Uh-huh.
wish you good luck and really appreciate all your time and consideration being on the show. It
Okay.
was
Hmm.
like very fun as well as very insightful episode for the Solis.
Yay. Awesome.
So,
Well, I hope your viewers enjoy it as well and they got so much out of it. Yeah.
thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hope audience you will enjoy this episode. Before we end, I'm going to end this episode with a quote from Richard M., which says, "A vision and strategy aren't enough. The long-term key to success is execution each day, every day." And on that note, we are going to close this episode. See you guys in the next episode. Until we meet, happy reading. Let's live together. Stay safe. Bye for now.